Hi, my name's Colin. I'm from Stockport in the UK, and today I'd like you to join me in painting this watercolour. Okay, I've laid the board flat for this one. I'm just going to create a sun just with a piece of tissue paper, kitchen towel, sorry, and into that we will add around it some yellow ochre or raw sienna if you prefer raw sienna. Just create a little sun through here, stroke a few bits that way. Just have that. Cleaning your brush, you can just drop some crimson in just to add some interest and just let it spread. Once that is still nice and juicy, we can add your sky colour. Brilliant blue, burnt umber with a touch of alizarin crimson. Stronger mix. We can then start to add some clouds, bit of variation. Don't be frightened of putting paint on, just put it on. I'm going to allow that to merge and drift, just stopping some out where the tree is, so the branches will show up later. It's a really dark mix. And this will dry a lot lighter than it is when you're putting it on. Just saving some of the lighter areas. At this point we can re-wet some of the land area. With your first weaker wash of the sky colour, start the edges. It down to your pencil lines where your drawing is. Same on this side. Just a few areas where you think it would be dark. Brush strokes will give you the lay of the land, which way the land is sloping. Then we'll let that dry. The sky area is dry. We can just add some water to this background hill just to re-wet it. And into that we're just going to drop the darker mix of the sky colour, which was cerulean blue, burnt umber and alizarin crimson. I'm just going to start at the top. Let it mingle with the water. Going into there. That's enough for that. And also come back to the foreground with that mix, and I've re-wetted this area on the front as I did before, just to save a little bit of time. The top white. Same on this side. Can do with your damp brush is then just create some light spots. Same on here. You can allow that to dry. Now that's dry, we can come to the background trees. I will just re-wet some of the areas around these with your ultramarine and light red. Put the background trees in. Just let them drift. Bringing it past the pencil marks. Into the shadows, a little bit of a stronger mix, quite strong enough. Underneath here, it's a little darker. Some bushes here. There's another set of bushes there. Bottom, allowing it to drift up. Strengthen that in areas. Same here. And equally. sections to take off with a damp brush, softening off the bottom, a few spots of the sky colour. Allow that to dry. While the background trees are drying, I'll come to this little section here. I'll add some colour to this. Take in your sky colour once again. This, just to give it an edge. Show you where the snow is. Right into there. Same on this one. Weakly wash it out there. To the pencil there. And allow all that to dry. It's time to do the lake, so we'll just re-wet the whole lake area with some clean water. Back to your sky colour. A little bit of the darker one in with it. Remember, your brush strokes are horizontal. I've already laid on it. We'll have a little of the tree colour. Just showing through. Yellow ochre. Crimson, because it's in the sky, put it there. Start to soften some of these edges. You've got plenty of time to do this. You really don't need to rush. It's all nice and wet. Make sure you keep your brush strokes horizontal. Otherwise you'll end up with sloping water. Just put that in that way. Now then, with a damp brush that's fully loaded with water, take any excess off on a rag, start at the back and pull forward, removing some paint. Right down the centre. You have to darken it in some areas just to bring it out a little bit more, especially in the foreground. And whilst you have it like that, with a damp brush, on each flat brush, and with that, just take out a couple of streaks. And we'll let that dry. Now with a mixture of light red and ultramarine, use the dry brush technique, and we're just going to brush some foliage onto the colour that we already have, that we did for the background. And we're just basically breaking that colour up and adding some texture to the bushes. Just start slightly above the trees and you'll get them pockets of air in between and where the background mountain is painted. I find it's one of the easiest ways to put foliage on a tree. The slightly darker mix will come underneath. tree trunks. Even bring a couple out the back, just for further interest. Maybe some here. Just a touch more there, I think. It's darker than the underneath on this one. I want to bring it forward a bit more. Okay. Now that that's dry, we can go back to the original colour. Put a dry brush technique onto this. Might be a little bit too strong, that. So water some of that down. You can just sharpen up some of the edges. Just scrumble it on, taking care when you get close to the lake area. Just adding a little bit of texture to your snow. Take it back. A damp brush. And just soften some of these edges off. And on the other side. The shoreline edge. Forgive my elbow. Just scrumble the paint over it. Damp brush once again, soften off the areas where the hard edges are. Move on to your darker mix, into your foreground. Possibly be a little strong as well. We'll have to water that down. Come back to another minute. That's better. Just picking out areas where you think the snow would lie. Off with your big brush. Now you can put your darker one right in the foreground. Just a little much on there, I think. Scrumbling once again. Soften off once again. Now we should leave that to dry. Okay, with a weaker wash of Prussian blue and burnt umber, we'll do the background birch trees, and as you can see, I've let it dry and removed the masking fluid over the trunks. We'll just gently put the birch trees in. Not too strong. To leave some of the white showing. Just put a little foot on him. Hold him to the ground. We can move on to the stronger mix. Pop this little buddy in. Just let the tip of the brush bounce up the tree. Yeah, a little bit round to the front. Just get all your trunks in like that. Making sure your paper's really dry. This is just dry. It's more damp there. I'll have to stop here now, turn the film off, otherwise we'll overrun on time. Okay, once you put your birch trees in there, and these two at the back, which are a weaker mix, you can then, if you've seen me do this before, turn your board round and put the top branches on, back to the back ones at the back. With a 00 rigger. You can then add the fine branches. I'll just do a few. Obviously, you being at home, you can spend more time than I can. Just a few more. Just fill your trees out. I think you'll get the general idea. Welcome back. After you turn your board back round, the tree should have turned out like this, hopefully, and I've just had a look and I don't think that the lake has enough depth in it. So I'm going to show you how you can redo this. It's just by wetting it in the areas where you want it to go dark, taking care not to go into the land. We want to create some deep shadows. Back to your sky mixture, which I've just added a little bit more blue and umber to. Just test it, because don't forget this will fade as well. Take it from the bank, leaving a little gap where the bank is. Some on this side. So it looks really deep. Much more. Darker under here. Okay. And we're going to let that dry. Only a couple more things to do to it now. I've just gone around the edges of the banking with a small craft knife, and I've just scraped along it to expose some of the white paper underneath. Now we're going to put some wind streaks into the dark parts of the paint that we put in on the second time. Make sure you've got everything straight. Another dark one here. Not quite straight, is it? It's better. Rather odd. Last one in here, and it's all that's left for you to do now is to get some paint and sign it. I hope you give this painting a go, and don't forget you can join me on Facebook, and thanks for watching.